welcome to My Endo For, and we have a special guest today.
Hi, I'm Bree.
Alright, and today we are going to be having another tea time discussion, going to be giving you the real tea on women's health, and today we will be discussing endometriosis. Alright, we were both diagnosed with endometriosis, so this is definitely a discussion, y'all. We really about to get into it, so let's get in, let's get into it again. Okay, so today's tea is something that I made up. We don't have a brand, but it is some fresh mint, some fresh ginger, and some nettle leaf. Coincidentally, I did start my cycle today, so definitely want to make sure that we're getting some tea that's going to regulate those hormones, keep our body going, get our digestion going, so that we're good to go. I would play my plant music like I did last time, but for some reason Verizon doesn't want me to have good service, so we're going to have to skip over that. Maybe I'll just plug it in. But let's definitely get into this discussion. So, Bree, endometriosis is what we're going to talk about. Tell me, when were you first diagnosed, and what made you, I guess, go to the doctor for them to find out that you had endometriosis?
Okay, so I was diagnosed probably in 2019, but I was dealing with cysts on my ovaries since I was like 10.
Wow.
So how that happened, I was in church praising the good Lord, and kind of something similar that happened to you where your side was just hurting.
Yeah. I
screamed out and I basically fell on the floor, and I was just holding my side, stopped the entire service. And yeah, so they moved me to the bathroom, and we laid there, and my mom tried to calm me down as much as she could until the ambulance got there. Same thing happened. They tried to say that I had just started my period for the first time, but there was no blood. They were just saying that, maybe I had a UTI.
They love that.
They love that. They love it. They love it. When they don't know what's going on, they just, oh yeah, it's a UTI. Those are the symptoms. Then my mom was just like, no, that don't make no sense. So she took me to that child hospital. And then they gave me ultrasounds. They were doing ultrasounds, and they're like, yeah, she got like 3 cysts on her left ovary. She has 2 on her right. They're decent size, so it's like, if you want to get surgery, you can, or we could put her on birth control so they could shrink them. My mom said no with the birth control because she knows that messes up hormones, which can mess up mental. And I was just so young, so she was just like, nah, what are the other options? And they were just like, that's really all we got. Give her some pain meds. And that was it. So for a while, my mom did not want to put me on anything hormonal based. But then my period finally started. My period was super late. I think my period started when I was in high school. Yeah, 9th grade, I think it was. And it didn't stop. It never stopped.
It never stopped.
It did not stop. So that's when she was just like, she was traveling at the time, so my grandma was just like, do you want to go on birth control? And I'm like, sure. Let's see what it's going to do. And that's when they put me on the pill. And it was not good with the pill because you have to take it at the same time every day, no matter what. You could have woken up late. If you don't, then your period will start. And I hated that. Well, my period started anyway. Period started that day. And the reason I was on birth control was to stop my period, because it was the norethindrone that, that's like what you take for the month, and then the very last week they put you on what basically starts your period.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hated the pill. So I was really only on it for a few months, and then I was just like, I'll take the pain, and that was it. So, yeah, that's what kind of made me realize there was something going on, because my cyst would rupture. I'd have to go to the ER. Like, I stayed in the ER. That was like my thing. I stayed in the ER. They never really did anything but give me drugs.
Yeah, pain medicine, what they call it.
I would be high off the drugs that they'd give me. I didn't really like it, but I wasn't in pain. So I was just like, all right, cool. I think I was a junior when I started to just go to the OB consistently, because I was just like, I couldn't do anything when I was on my period. Like, I couldn't do anything. And yeah, so I went to the ER for one last time. I remember when it was in 2019. Went to the ER, and this lady, I'm really talkative, so I'm talking to the lady who's doing my thing. She's like, I'm like, yeah, so what you see down there? I still got the cysts. And she's like, well, you have cysts, but I think endometriosis. And I was just like, at the time I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this kind of sounds crazy. What you mean endometriosis? Like, did they evolve? Like, what's going on? And then she just referred me back to my OB. My OB was like, oh, I hate when they tell people that it's endo. You can't tell that through an ultrasound. I don't know why she's telling you that. It's probably nothing. So like for another 2 months of 2019, I was just ignoring the lady who said that I had endo.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was just like, can you look at my ovaries through an ultrasound? Because if she's saying it looks a certain way differently from the cyst, then it has to be endo because they don't look exactly the same.
Yeah.
And she finally she brings me to the next room and she was like, huh, this kind of looks, okay, I can see why she said that it could be endo because of how it looks. It's darker. It has this weird kind of, it's not like just circles that I usually just have, but it just looks basically lopsided. And she was just like, well, now anytime you feel like your cysts are rupturing, go to the ER because, you know, your ovaries could twist. You'll need surgery. And I'm just like, okay. So she was like, the only way to tell is to get surgery. And at that time, I was just like, I don't really want to have surgery.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds like a lot, you know? So I was just like, no, girl. I think I spent like 2 days. I was in the ER and then they moved me to a room. And I was there for like 2 or 3 days. I cannot remember. And they were just like, if you aren't trying to do more hormonal drugs or if you're not trying to at least, because there's like maybe you could get a biopsy of like if we go up in the vagina and then just do a biopsy of like the area that could also be contaminated with endo, then you know there's no other way. So 2019 at the end of the year I had surgery and I'm glad that I went to a whole nother doctor. It was this, my grandma was like, go to her. She worked at a hospital. She was like, she's a really good surgeon. She's young. She listens.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, bet. So yeah, I went to her. She was just like, let's do it. We did the surgery and she did excisions. And of course, the biopsy came back saying that they were endo. So that's when I found out. And my first surgery helped me for probably like 3 months. That was really good.
Yeah, that's crazy. One, to be 10 years old and to have that many cysts is crazy. And for them to not have thought like, okay, something's not right. And then you said that you had multiple on each side. Like, that doesn't even sound normal, okay? Like, and I really don't like when you go to the doctor and they be like, oh, yeah, it's just a couple of cysts. Like,
Yeah,
it's nothing.
it'll go away
We
with
shouldn't even have
periods.
cysts to begin with. Let's start there.
Bruh, oh my God.
So, hearing that is just like, wow. And I really wish the medical field would treat, especially younger women coming in with those symptoms, one, diagnosing them correctly and not just trying to give them birth control. Because like me, I know my periods were really bad. I started mine in elementary school. And they used to be really, really bad. And all they would say is, well, she's a growing girl. She plays sports. It's not that serious. And then when I did finally have my first surgery, I had stage 4 endometriosis. So it's like, it could have been caught early on. I wouldn't have to have gone through so much pain. And then for that doctor to have said, oh, I don't know why she's, and didn't even do an ultrasound herself to double check to look. And
girl, that was
months.
Girl.
And months.
Yeah,
and then for her to be like, oh,
back to her.
Well, you know what?
And that was a gynecologist. Like, that was the gyno.
And that'd be the scary part. That I really do. But
you know what was crazy though, now that I think about it, like when I was growing up, I had problems with, like, I had bad acne, like horrible bad acne, and then I had a yeast problem, like that would usually give me UTIs. And so when they finally was saying that I had cysts on my ovaries, nowadays, like me being 25, like trying to connect all the dots, I'm
it
like,
makes sense.
Everything makes so much sense now. I'm just like, I wish, and I try not to blame people for doctors in the medical field, because at the end of the day, they still practice in medicine. Like, cause I do.
Yeah, they are.
So I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's just like, I wish we knew the little breadcrumbs that could have been picked up from when I was growing up, elementary school to middle school, dealing with bad acne, consistent UTIs, and all you telling me is, oh, make sure she's cleaning herself, make sure she's give her this drug to stop that, and it was just like my body was literally trying to tell me, hey, your hormones are
crazy.
They're not.
Yeah, and now that you think of that, I think I did used to get UTIs and yeast infections, and the same thing, antibiotics. Oh, just make sure that you're cleaning yourself, and it's just like you said, no, like my body was trying to tell me something's not right, and it's like that doesn't even. Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, the acne. I did have acne growing up. Cycles being bad.
So bad. Like,
yeah, for you to have started your period in high school and then others starting in elementary, it's like
high school.
Our bodies were telling, and yeah, there's no reason you should have started in high school, and not one doctor was concerned.
No, none of that. There was like, yeah, some girls started early, some girls started late. She was like, because I have cysts on my ovaries, that's why. So that's what they blamed it on.
And I'd be like, okay, then so obviously the cyst is doing something.
Yeah.
Like,
and then because my mom didn't want to put me on birth control, they really didn't have nothing else. They was like, oh, well, do you want to do surgery? She's 10. No.
Yeah, 10 is young. Because I think my first surgery was at 14. And like you said, hearing the word surgery, and then I had to have emergency surgery. Like, I just went into the hospital, and they're like, they came back, ma'am, no, she needs to have surgery, like, immediately, like, right now, or she's going to lose both her ovaries. And I'm like, one, what are ovaries? Right? Where is that at exactly? And what do you mean emergency surgery? Like, I'm so confused here. Like, what is going on?
That was always a scare of mine, to have that emergency, because they always would talk about it. Like,
it really is scary. Like I said, the day before, it was just like out of nowhere. I just had really bad side pain. I'm like, what is going on? Went to the hospital, and like they said, they told me I had a freaking UTI. Sent me on my way, and then the next day, I was like in excruciating pain. Like, I thought I was gonna make it. And then I had emergency surgery. I remember trying to fight off the anesthesia when I was going into surgery. And I was like, I'm gonna stay up. I don't know what's going on. And the next thing you know, I just woke up, and I was like, oh my God, like, y'all really cut me open. What is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
And then she came in. I think they had pictures they took, and I'm looking at the pictures like,
and stuff like that makes you be like, damn, what's wrong with me? Like, at a young age, like, I literally always would be like.
And I don't think any of my friends, maybe they weren't talking about it, but it was like none of my friends were going through what I was going through. So, I had one friend, she actually had ovarian cancer. So she was the only person I knew, and then she ended up having endometriosis too. So she was the only person I knew that was kind of going through what I was going through, even though my symptoms weren't as bad as hers and, as intense. But yeah, growing up, I just felt like everybody would be looking at me because, like, I could be in school, then I would have to leave. I would be gone for weeks. Because I would have to get homeschooled. Then I had a surgery. I had this. Like, I think in high school, I had 5 surgeries. In the span between, like, sophomore year to my senior year. And then I was probably having, like, 2 a year. So, yeah, everybody was probably just looking at me. And I'm just like, what is going on with my body? And why is it not getting better? Like, I'm going to the hospital, I'm taking all these medicines, like you say, it would just make me feel high and loopy, and it would just make me go to sleep. And I'm like, when I go to sleep, then of course I'm not going to feel the pain. Like, it was just ridiculous. And to be in the emergency room for like weeks at a time, and all they're doing is around the clock. Okay, pump this medicine, pump this medicine, pump this medicine. And it's like, this is crazy. And
that was it. Medicine.
I would go home, and then I'm back like the next week with the same issue, and here we go, a repeating cycle. And then I would also think, well, if y'all put me on birth control to regulate my hormones so that I'm not in all this pain, why am I still in all this pain? What is the birth control really doing besides driving me insane? Literally, like.
Yeah. The birth controls that I tried was the pills I did. Then I had to just go to just a Northridge because my period just wouldn't stop. Like, my period, that was my issue. It's like my period wouldn't stop. I'd be on my period for a long time. And like, I love my family now that I think about it, like, that they were just listening to me, like, it wasn't just, oh, you got a headache, take some pills, go to school. They would be like, oh, she's on her period. Oh yeah, let's make sure my grandma, they tend to me, like, not just, oh, meds, take your meds, but you got your heating pad, do you need this, do you want to try this, do you want to try, they just made sure that I'm as comfortable as I could be. Better than the hospital, but like, but at the same time, like, what else could they have done but surgery? So I try to, like, just tell my mind, like, it's just kind of had to happen for me to, because I didn't want to have them surgeries when I was younger. Something that was just, like, my mom asked me, she gave me the option, she was like, do you want to, or do you want to just see, like, kind of where it goes? And I was just like, you know, I'm a woman, they say that we can take pain, so, like, let's just see where it goes type of thing, you know? And that was a lot. That was my high school. I missed school a lot, but, like, I didn't even, I'd always try to just stay up on my work. I'd always email my teachers and stuff like that, because, like, Caribbean families, the one thing you have to do is pass school. Like, there is no middle, no nothing. You got to go to school. You don't have to get good grades, but you got to get the best grades of your ability and then keep it pushing. But I'm happy that I didn't even know that there was planes and stuff like that. I hope, you know.
Yes, so I know for me, I had the surgery. Looking at it now, I wish I didn't have all those surgeries, but the pain would be so bad for me. It was like, I can't even do this no more. I was tired of crying every day, tired of not being able to walk. And it would get to the point where I started having, like, real bad headaches, back pain, to where, like, if I had a headache, my mom would be like, okay, you can just stay home from school. It's okay, we're not gonna, force you to go. Yeah. It would just be so intense for me. So once my teacher started figuring out, like, okay, she's missing school a lot, like, what's going on? I had a good counselor, and they were telling me, like, oh, there's a 504 plan. So with 504 plan, if your child has, like, a disability or a medical condition, we can accommodate them so that we can make sure that they're still, passing their classes, and so they can graduate on time. So with my 504 plan, if I missed school, they would try not to count it against me. If I needed to, like, take a test in a controlled environment, they would allow me to do that. Because at the time, when I think it was like I don't remember which surgery it was, but I was in high school. They ended up clipping my nerve branch from my uterus to my bladder. So I don't feel, like, the urge when I have to pee. Like, when I do, it's like I'm literally gonna pee on myself. My bladder's full, so they would give me the accommodations. If she needs to go to the bathroom, in school, I don't know what that was about.
I don't know what that was.
Not being allowed to go to the bathroom when we could, like, I don't even know what that was. But so I had that accommodation. I know when I had surgery and I needed to, because one time I had surgery and I was on bed rest for like a month or two. And so I had a teacher that actually came out to my house and she homeschooled me so I could stay caught up on everything. And then she was so nice, because if she didn't understand the word, she'd be like, okay, I'm just giving this back and they're going to have to exempt you from this. Because if I don't know what they're teaching, you ain't got to learn it either. And if it would just be busy work, she's like, okay, look, no, she just came from surgery. She's not doing this.
It's a lot to jump back into school after surgery.
Yeah, so it was some other accommodations, and I'm so thankful for that counselor that, allowed me, introduced that to me. Because he even was like, okay, when you get to college, you need to stay on them because they don't try to take it as seriously, and you need to make sure. So when I got to college, they allowed me to have it, but some professors did not care, and I had to go through the appeal process, and then even my appeal got denied. And my appeal was, one, I had a death in the family. I had multiple deaths in the family. And then on top of the fact that I was sick, because also your health, your mind and how you feel, your mental is all connected. So because I was going through those deaths and grieving, my mental was already trashed because I was on birth control. And then on top of that, I was just so sick, like my first couple of years of college. And it was just like, some professors cared, some didn't, and then I even reached out to the president of my college, the dean, and they still denied my appeal. And I was failing classes to the point where I ended up just dropping out of college because I was just like, I can't do this. Like, it's too much. It's not even.
I really just want to fight though.
I was just like, you know what? I don't even care. No, it was the point I stopped showing up for class. I was just like, I can't do this. Like, no, I'll just have to figure something else out. I was trying to work multiple jobs as well, and yeah.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Okay. The only benefit I would say that I probably had when I was at school is that there was a doctor's office that was literally like right down the corner from my dorm, and they would be in good contact. You know, when you get to college, your parents are not supposed to be involved in and talk to them. But luckily, the doctor was able to like speak to my mom, and anytime I was feeling sick, they'd be like, "Hey, like she's in her dorm, she's not feeling well. Get somebody to go check on her, or make sure that she gets there."
Anybody with disabilities, that's how I want anybody to be attentive. I don't care, even if it's just like chronic pain to where I'm being disability because of this. But like mental health things need to be taken more. It's like you were saying in your last one. It's like they don't take it serious until it's too late.
Until it's too late.
And it's just like, I know that, you know, that guy, that, what was that saying? The boy cried wolf and whatever. And I get that 100%. I understand people be like making up things. But it's like, if I've already went through so much, going through it stuff right now, you seeing it show in my academics, come on, what am I lying about?
So yeah, speaking of boy cried wolf, that just reminds me of that married to medicine doctor. Her name's Jackie. I don't know her last name. But she definitely made a statement. She posted a video stating how women need to stop exaggerating and being dramatic about their symptoms, their pain. That's why we're not going to get taken seriously. And it's like, for that to have left your mouth as a black woman, when so many black women are dying or either, you know, taking their lives because they're not being taken seriously, they're being misdiagnosed, it's just untasteful. And it really triggered me when she said that, because growing up, and even till this day, that's all I get is, it's not that serious. And it really is that serious. And our mental health really should be checked on, like, frequently.
Yeah.
Because like I said, for me to have been in college and going through all of that, and I'm telling the professor and I'm filling the pills and I'm going to doctors, and nobody actually took the time to be like, are you okay?
Right.
Like,
with everything that you're going through, are you
nobody said that. And then even when I went to my doctor and I told her, because even just not even then, I want to say a couple months ago last year, probably early in the year, when things started getting really bad for me again, I told my doctor, and I had this doctor for a long time. She's probably done the majority of my surgeries. And I told her, hey, look, my mental's not okay. Something's not right. I'm not feeling like myself. I don't feel motivated. I'm crying all the time. Like, I just don't, I'm not in tune with my emotions. I just don't feel like me. I feel out of place. And her suggestion was, my bad. I don't feel like me. I feel out of place. And her suggestion was, oh, well, let's just double your birth control. Double my birth control? Are you serious?
Like, I don't know. I was like, so no, you wouldn't recommend a therapist. You wouldn't recommend.
And that's what I'm saying.
Or you wouldn't recommend, like,
I mean,
drugs.
I think one time she recommended pelvic flooring, but she was really pushing for me to double my birth control. And then she was like, oh, well, let's do some muscle relaxer medicine as well. And I'm like, it doesn't help. Okay? It does not help. And like you said, nobody once ever said, okay, let's get you a therapist. Even after her, I ended up switching over to another doctor, and I ended up going to Kaiser from the insurance I previously had. And it was one appointment I went in, I said, hey, look, I've been in pain every day. I can barely work. I'm getting in trouble with my job because I'm not there. And I work from home, and even still managing a work from home job was rough for me, because I would have to sit at a desk, and I was hybrid, so it would be like a couple weeks out the month I would have to go in, but it's like then I have to travel. And even being here, most of the times I was not eating. It was for a while, months, I could barely eat. I was not getting any sleep because I was in pain. I was throwing up a lot. So it was like I just didn't have any energy to literally sit there, even just be at a desk and doing my work was a challenge for me, because it's like if I can't even do the basics as waking up in the morning, being able to walk, then
not being able to walk, waking up and not being able to walk, that's probably what put me down more than anything else. Because now you're like, well, I haven't eaten. Like, I didn't eat much yesterday, and I was hoping I could eat a little bit more today, but my legs are out, so...
Yeah, your legs would be out, and then it's just like, I would just feel so weak. And then it's like, when I would stand up, I'm feeling like I'm about to pass out. Then I'm throwing up more. Like, it was just so crazy. And I went to the doctor, and this is like the 4th doctor I've seen at Kaiser. And I'm telling her all these things, and she was like, well, at this point, you sounds like you tried everything. So the only thing for you to do is like to get a hysterectomy. And when she told me that, I literally just I bust out crying, because it's just like, one, you know, if I have a hysterectomy, now I can't have kids. And at the time I was only 24, so it's kind of like I'm really young to be making a big decision like that. Even though I don't know what I want to do, but for me to just have to make a decision and that's just it, it's just crazy. And for you to tell me like you've exhausted all your possibilities, and it's like all I've been doing has been doped up on meds and birth control
and surgeries. So
it's kind of like, how have I exhausted my possibilities? I'm so confused here. So I'm in the office bawling my eyes out to the point where she was like, you can't drive. Do I need to call somebody to come get you? And she still did not recommend me a therapist. I had to message her to be like, hey, look, do you guys have therapists? Is there somebody I can reach out to? But for me to have had an appointment like that and you not refer me to a therapist, but you don't think it's safe for me to drive?
It's like, but and that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've had a therapist since middle school because I was going through all these pains super young, and my family made it obvious. Like, not even on my family, but they kind of seen that I was getting angry. My anger was like through the roof because at that point in my life, I was just, what's the point? Like, I wake up in pain. I wake up at a 7 and it only goes higher. Every day.
And sometimes it would start at a 10 for me. Like, I would be at a 10 and then it would go past the 10. Yeah. And I'm just like you said, like, it would just get to the point where I'm just like, what's the point? And then my birth control would literally drive me crazy. I'm at school, I'm crying for no reason, and then I'm having hot flashes, and then I'm just moody, I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting irritated, even at just like the little simple things that don't even cause a reaction.
You know, there's this drug that had me go through that. It was Oralista. Did you ever try that?
Yes.
Yeah,
they recently tried to put me back on it, and I was like, no. I remember being on that, and
I would never recommend that to them. Don't get me wrong, the pain went away. Pain is because they stopped all the hormones in your body.
At what cost?
At what cost? At what cost? Because we need our hormones to regulate our emotions too.
And that's what I was trying to tell these doctors. I was like, at the end of the day, like, you're trying to put me on birth control. And when I really started doing my own research as I got older, because for the most part, I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to these doctors. Obviously, they know what they're talking about. They're looking out for my best interest until I got older. And I'm like, okay, so obviously...
I'm sorry.
And I'm like, obviously, you don't care about my life. So I really started doing some research. And I'm like, if I'm having all these issues with my hormones, why did you put me on medication to stop my period? And then why are you putting me on other medications that's gonna help stop my period and stop my hormones? Like, none of it made sense.
Right, I was having hot flashes. Those hot flashes, and then in the summer was so wild. Like, having those hot flashes in the summer. What else? The emotions, of course. I was having, like, feeling my bones hurt. Like, oh my gosh, there was times, like, because I used to travel for my job, and I'll be in different states, so it's not like I can just, like, feel the same comfort of my bed, of my family, just supporting me there. It's like I'm in Wisconsin or wherever I'm at, and I'm having to deal with this pain and everything by myself. And to get into, like, to be working and then being out of states, obviously you're there for a reason. You're there to accomplish whatever the job is that you're there for. And then not being able to, and then having to, like, I'm in IT, so I work with only males. And while, yes, males have, like, a more soft side for women that's going through things like that, it's still just like, but they need this work done. You know what I'm saying? So at this end of the day, I can't be mad if y'all let me go because I can't perform the way I need to perform. And then y'all will basically have to have, like, a backup for me, and then that's expensive. So I'm just like, for a while, I thought the job field that I started, and I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this because how am I gonna, I can't expect to, like, for them to, like, have so much leeway. Like, corporate America, you can have sick days, hospital day, whatever, cool, but at the end of the day, the work needs to be done. So it's like, that's all they looking at for real. Like, they could care about you. They don't care about you. They just want to make sure that this work is done. So it was like, being on Oralista and traveling was so hard. And then at the time I was dating, I was in a relationship, so it was like, I didn't even know how to express all these things because I'm, 22, going through heat flashes, going through mood swings, going through bone pains, and you telling doctors, like, how old are you again? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I have endo. I have to mention that to all my doctors. Because then they be like, oh, okay, well that makes more sense. I'm like, but don't stop thinking about how you can help me.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you tell the doctor, oh, I have endo. Okay.
All right.
There's nothing I'm gonna do.
There's nothing I can do. I can listen to you and prescribe you more ibuprofen 800. I can prescribe
They
you.
love, and ibuprofen is the worst.
Yeah,
you
it's
should
worse.
not be taking ibuprofen. It literally
I used to
messes
pop
up.
them things, bro.
I would pop 3. I would pop 3 and wish for the best, hoping I will wake up. Hoping I will wake up, okay? And that's not good to say. But yeah, it's literally tearing apart insides. And I probably just added on to the problem. And I just feel like a lot of the medicine really just would make things worse. Like, it would maybe touch one symptom and then it would just bring out another one.
Yeah, because
like,
I
now
had
it's another issue
other
going
doctor's
on.
appointment with the gastrologist because my stomach is messing up. I'm like, I know I ain't drinking this much energy because I used to have to drink energy drinks. So I'm like, I know I'll make sure I break. Like, I'll drink it one day and not drink it for like 2-3 days. I know it's not messing me up that much. I know I'm still eating the same way. And then they're like, yeah, with the 800s, you gotta eat like 10 times more because it basically is sitting on the acid in your stomach lining and it's just absorbing. And then I'm just like, oh, so the one thing that kind of puts me at like a 5, 6, I can't take it that much. I gotta take the ones that make me dizzy and make me just want to go to sleep. Okay.
Yeah, the side effects be like dizzy, nausea. You could have a stroke. You could have a heart attack. You could have blindness in your eye. Like, it would just be crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So if you're gonna take this, make sure you're not driving. Make sure you're in the bed, because
so just get rid of my life. Just throw it away. It's like I could not. Yeah.
It would not make sense. And yeah, the same thing with ibuprofen. I don't understand. Why would you give me a medicine and I have to down all this food and I can't even hold food down?
And I'm throwing up
and I can't even eat.
Right.
So
Like, I can't even eat.
does that make? Like, I don't. Yeah, I just know growing up, we were definitely trying to explore other routes outside of what the doctors were telling us because nothing was working. Like, literally, I would be in the hospital, in the emergency room for weeks, and they would give me the medicine. Okay, where's your 10 now? It's still a 10 out of 10. Are you sure? Are you just lying? No.
Is it this spot for real? Like, are you sure that it's...
And I'm like, no, it's still a 10 out of 10. So I know I did acupuncture, and acupuncture was so... I loved it.
Really? I'm actually about to get into that.
Loved it. I can refer you to the guy that I go to.
Okay.
He's in Buford. He's a driver, but he is sweet. And I would say it got rid of some pain, not but all the pain. Right. But it would help with like the stuff to where I was like, okay, this at least try to make me feel better. So I would have really bad headaches. I would go in. Okay. Yeah, I would have really bad headaches, back pain, sharp pain. I would have pelvic pain, then I would have stomach pain. Yep. It would just be all that. I would go in.
All the organs.
And then I would have, my headaches were so bad. I think they put me on, I think it was gabapentin.
Yeah, I was on gabapentin.
No, not gabapentin. Gabapentin for something else. Amitriptyline, or it's some type of headache medicine, and it would help. But then to some point, she was like, "All right, now this is a new dose that you're getting, so it'll literally make you feel like you're having a hangover."
Girl,
I would wake up feeling like I was drunk, and I was like, no. But yeah, I would go in. He would do the little pressure points. My headache would be gone like that. Back pain gone like that. And it would be some of the best sleep that I would ever get. Because, like, he would put it in, he would play calming music, he would turn the lights off, and I would just knock out for like 30 minutes. I'm talking about drool everywhere. Like, it would be the best sleep. And he would also, like, make, because he was an herbalist, so he would give me, like, certain herbs and tea mixtures to drink to, like, help calm my stomach so I can digest food better.
Yeah, my friend did that for me. She used to make, basically like teas like this, but she made it specifically for, because I'm also bipolar, so like with the hormones and stuff like that, that was like an extra reason for my brain to just not want to do what it needs to do, you know? So, man, yeah, the endo journey, I mean, I'm still with it, but like the endo journey has been really tough. As far as like mental health, and I don't think that gets touched on as much as it's like the pain is for sure, it's always gonna be there, but the mental is like it matters so much more when you're going through it.
Yeah, and I think you don't even realize how bad your mental is until you're literally at that point where it's kind of like, this is scary. Because I know for me, just like not even just last year was really scary, but even before then, I had just moved into a new apartment, and I had my I had a business at the time, I was making jewelry, and it was to the point where like I just was not motivated to do anything. I did not like where I was. I was just, and I would constantly spend all my money on gas to like get to my friends. So I'd be like, so I'm around people that I, felt like I could, uplifting, because it was like when I would be by myself, and even when I would be with them, I would just kind of be like, bro, like something's not right. I would just sleep all day, just trying to eat whatever that would make me feel better, spending money on whatever that would make me feel better, and it was just so negative. And I couldn't keep a job because it was like I would have a job, but then I would not be motivated to go in, or either I was not feeling well, and it was just really bad. And it was just to the point where then I didn't have any money, and I was kind of like, how did I?
And it's because of our body.
And
it's not because of.
It's like it's not that I don't want to, because I want to, but literally, it's like there's another person inside me. Like, we're not doing shit today. Like you're not accomplishing nothing. You're not doing nothing. I'm sorry to tell you.
Better hope I make you get up when you need a pee.
Seriously, and it's just like I don't even know what's going on. And I think my parents are probably looking at me like, what is going on with this girl? I know I had started seeing somebody at the time, and they probably thought like, oh, this girl's just doing whatever. But it's like I really had to sit down and tell them like, no, like I was not myself, and I didn't know how to control it. And then at the time, I got put on new birth control, and that made things so much worse. And even earlier last year, and at the end, it was the point where I told them, look, if something doesn't change, even though I don't even think negative, but there's a possibility that I could harm myself. And nobody cared.
It was
like nobody did nothing. They was just like, oh, okay, well, jump off a bridge then. Do a flip while you're there. It was just crazy. And it was just like, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this channel, because I'm just like, there is no reason that there is not light shed on women and their mental health, especially when because like you said, the pain gonna be there, and the pain it hurts and it makes you feel crazy, but your mental will make things feel 10 times. It's just, I don't understand.
I was, since I was diagnosed with bipolar, like I wasn't taking my meds because I was just like, there's no point. Like, there's honestly, like, I would have more depressive episodes than manic. To this day, I love my manic episodes. I don't care how destructive they are. Like, I love when I'm up and I'm just like, I can do this, because I don't get those days often. You know, like it's almost like when I'm in my more hypermanic episodes, I'm like, the pain is almost to the back of my head. Yes, I'm in pain. Yeah, I'm gonna cry probably when I drive there, but I'm gonna get a little bit right before I walk in. But it was just like, I wasn't taking my, like, what I call them, my happy drugs. And they don't make me happy. I'm gonna just say this right now for anybody who does have bipolar and they're listening. It doesn't make you happy. It's up to you to really, what I think the drugs do is like, it helps you want to be not happy, but more there for yourself. So right now, I've been probably taking my meds for like a year now, even with endo, and it's been hard because it's just a lot. It's just really, it's so much to just want to do it for yourself going through endo. Like,
no, that is a word. That is a word.
It's a lot, and I don't think, and I'm thankful for my family because they make me feel not crazy. You know, like they made me feel like you are okay for feeling how you. If you don't want to get up, don't. Like, and my therapist, she's the same way. I love that lady. She's like, if you don't feel good, don't force yourself. Give yourself, what they always say, give yourself time to feel the feelings that you do, and then don't stay there, but do something that you like to do, even if it's. I love to write. I love to write poems. I like to paint, draw. I do all the mediums. I've dabbled in them all. I like to do go on walks. And since I wasn't able to, my biggest thing is trailing. Since I wasn't able to do that for a while, that put me down. So it was like, I told myself that all these other hobbies that I have, I'm not going to like to do it because there's going to be something that endo takes away from me from wanting to do it, you know? Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes you be like I said, what's the point? So, yeah, I wouldn't wish endo on nobody. And I also have, I was also diagnosed with adenomyosis, which is basically having endo, inside the uterus, like inside those tissues on it. It has always been around and in it, but it's like inside those muscles and inside the tissue. Basically, you can do excisions where they basically scrape that, but it's like they can scrape as much as they want. It's gonna be there no matter what. Like there's no birth control, there's no drug on this earth that can help me with the adenomyosis. So I didn't know that, and there was times where like my uterus just felt like it was on fire, like just you didn't even just light the plate. You poured gasoline on it, you poured lighter fluid. You didn't even take like matches, you took the torch.
Wow.
And then you just...
And yeah, I didn't even hear or even know about that until we were talking. And I just feel like because we've just been getting misdiagnosed and not treated properly, it's all these other things are just happening. But it's like, if you just went to the root cause and addressed it,
it's better
properly
to know than to just be like, what is going on? Why am I feeling this way? Like, and when I only thought I had endo, I was just like, no, this is just endo. This is just endo. This is just endo. Because the surgeon that did my last three surgeries, whatever, it wasn't tested for having adenomyosis. It was just endo because that can cause so much of the symptoms. Mm-hmm. And then finding out later that it was also both, it was just like, okay, well, this is why, I don't stop bleeding. This is why I had to stay on certain birth control. I don't even call them birth control anymore. I call them hormonal drugs because...
Yeah, that's what they are.
They had nothing to do with birth, and it got to a point where, like, doctors... This is why I stopped saying this, because I got to a point where I'd go to, like, pharmacies or doctors, and they'd be like, oh, the birth control? And in my head, I'm just like, I know I'm not in a relationship. I know I'm not sexually active at all. I'm just like, it's actually because, like, I can't regulate my hormones. It has nothing to do with me not wanting to have kids or me trying to prevent this. Like it's solely because my hormones are just, they're not my friends right now. Like we're not cool. Like
because they just haven't, and it's like they were trying to tell us like get us help, and we weren't even getting the proper help.
No.